My wife maxed out my credit card behind my back, spending $5,000 I had saved for our anniversary on a luxury 5-star hotel stay, for her lover and his friends. And then I lost control. Hey Reddit, I don't even know where to start. I've read stories like this before. Tales of betrayal, heartbreak, and people realizing their whole relationship was a lie. I used to think, that could never happen to me. But here I am. My name is Jake. I'm 34, and until a week ago, I thought I had my life perfectly planned out. Turns out I was just the last person to know the truth. For the past year, I had been planning something big, something life-changing. My girlfriend, Olivia, and I had been together for 5 years. We met at a friend's birthday party, and I swear, from the moment she walked into the room, she had this effortless charm that made everyone want to be around her. She had that kind of laugh, the one that made you smile even if you didn't know what was funny. She was witty, spontaneous, and full of life in a way that made me feel like anything was possible when I was with her. And I was all in. From the very beginning, Olivia was the woman I wanted to spend forever with. She supported me through my toughest moments, when my dad got sick, when work had me drowning in stress, when I lost a close friend and didn't know how to process it. She was there for all of it. So when our 5-year anniversary was coming up, I knew I had to do something unforgettable. Not just a fancy dinner, not just a weekend getaway. I wanted to go all out. I wanted to make a statement. I wanted to give her a memory so perfect, so cinematic, that we'd be telling the story for the rest of our lives. And at the end of it, I was going to propose. The moment I made the decision, I went into full mission mode. I started saving aggressively, cutting back on unnecessary expenses, taking on extra projects at work. Anything to make this trip happen without hesitation. No budgeting, no second-guessing. I wanted Olivia to feel like she was living in a dream. Then, about 6 months ago, I found it. This breathtaking oceanfront villa in Malibu. Not just some luxury hotel suite, but an actual private estate, the kind of place where celebrities go when they want to disappear from the world. Floor-to-ceiling glass walls with panoramic views of the Pacific Ocean. A massive infinity pool on the edge of the cliffs. A private chef, a full-service staff, the works. $12,000 for the week. An insane amount of money, but in my mind, it was worth every penny. That was just the start. I wasn't just booking a place to stay, I was crafting an experience. A private candlelit dinner right on the beach with a 5-course meal, waiters, and a violinist playing soft music in the background. $2, $500. A private yacht cruise so we could sip champagne while watching the sun dip below the horizon. $3, $800. A couple spa retreat in one of the most exclusive wellness resorts in LA. $1, $200. And, because I wanted to end the trip with something straight out of a romance movie, a private helicopter tour over the coastline. $1, $500. In total, I was dropping nearly $20,000 on this trip. And I didn't hesitate once. I spent months planning every detail in secret. Olivia thought we were just going to California for a simple getaway. Nothing extravagant. She had no idea what was waiting for her. And she definitely had no idea that on the last night, during that candlelit dinner on the beach, I was going to get down on one knee and ask her to marry me. I thought I was about to pull off the greatest surprise of my life. But looking back, there were signs. Small moments I ignored, gut feelings I brushed aside. Because honestly, I never thought Olivia would betray me. The thing about looking back is that everything suddenly makes sense. The red flags were there, but I ignored them. Maybe because I didn't want to see them. Maybe because when you love someone, you convince yourself that everything is fine, even when your gut is screaming at you that something is off. At first, Olivia was excited about our anniversary trip. She talked about how much she needed a vacation, how she couldn't wait to take a million pictures, how we'd be sipping margaritas on the beach without a single worry in the world. She even joked about packing 3 different outfits for every day because, in her words, I need options. But then, about a month before the trip, something changed. It was small at first. I'd bring up the getaway, and instead of lighting up like she usually did, she'd just nod absently and mumble, "Oh yeah, that'll be fun," like she was agreeing to go to a dentist appointment, not a luxurious vacation that most people could only dream of. One night, I was sitting at the kitchen counter, finalizing the yacht booking on my laptop, when I glanced up and saw her on the couch, glued to her phone. Olivia had never been the type to be obsessed with her phone. She was the kind of person who would forget where she left it, or let her texts pile up for days before remembering to reply. But lately, it was always in her hand. She was texting someone, smiling at her screen. "What's so funny?" I asked casually. She jumped a little, like she hadn't realized I was watching. "Oh, just Madison," she said quickly, turning the phone over so the screen was facing down. Madison was her best friend. The two of them had been inseparable since college, so I didn't think much of it. But then I noticed a pattern. The phone was always in her hand, and whenever I walked into the room, she'd lock the screen instantly. One night, as I was brushing my teeth, I heard her in the living room, laughing quietly. I peeked out of the bathroom. She was sitting cross-legged on the couch, phone in hand, a small private smile on her lips. I leaned against the doorframe. "Talking to Madison again?" She jumped again. "Yeah," she said, clearing her throat. "She just sent me something funny." I forced a grin. "Must be hilarious. You're smiling like you've got a secret." She gave me a weak chuckle, too forced, too careful, and placed her phone face down again. That's when I felt it for the first time. That cold, sinking weight in my stomach. Something was wrong, but I ignored it. I told myself I was overthinking. I told myself I was being paranoid, because Olivia would never do that to me, right? I told myself I was overthinking. I told myself I was being paranoid, that I was just misreading things. Olivia wasn't acting that different, was she? She still kissed me goodnight, still texted me during the day, still cuddled up next to me on the couch when we watched movies. But something was missing, something small, but noticeable. Before, when I talked, she would listen, really listen. She'd ask follow-up questions, tease me, make sarcastic comments. She'd lean her head on my shoulder when I was telling a long-winded story about work, humming in acknowledgement, engaged in the conversation. But now it was like talking to a wall. I'd say, "Hey, so I was thinking we could check out that new Italian place before our trip," and she'd just nod without looking up from her phone. Or I'd mention a funny thing that happened at work, and she'd mumble, "Huh, that's crazy," in the flattest voice possible. She wasn't really there. One evening, we were sitting at the kitchen table eating dinner. I had just wired a $5,000 deposit for the villa in Malibu earlier that day, and I was itching to tell her about it. I wanted to see her face light up, to hear that excited squeal she always did when she was genuinely thrilled about something. "I finalized the booking today," I said, smiling at her. "We officially have a private oceanfront villa for the week." She twirled her fork in her pasta, eyes barely flicking up to meet mine. "Oh, that's nice." I blinked. "That's nice?" I stared at her, waiting for more. Maybe she just hadn't processed what I said yet. Maybe she was tired. But she didn't add anything. Didn't ask any questions. Didn't even smile. I forced a chuckle. "That's all I get? Just a, that's nice?" "Liv, this place is insane. I'm talking infinity pool, floor-to-ceiling windows, private chef. We're basically going to be living like celebrities for a week." She finally looked up, gave me a small, distracted smile and said, "That sounds great, babe." Then, just like that, she picked up her phone and started scrolling. Something in my chest tightened. "Are you even excited for this trip?" I asked before I could stop myself. That got her attention. She blinked at me, looking almost offended. "What? Of course I am." "You don't seem like it," she sighed, setting her fork down. "Jake, I've just been busy. Work's been crazy, and Madison's dealing with some personal stuff, and I've been stressed. Okay? I don't have the energy to be jumping up and down about a trip right now." A trip. Not our anniversary trip. Not our getaway. Just a trip. I forced myself to nod. "Yeah, okay. I get it." But I didn't. Something wasn't right. And for the first time, I was starting to wonder if I was the only one in this relationship who actually cared anymore. I kept telling myself I was imagining things. That Olivia was just stressed. That people go through phases, and maybe she was just caught up in whatever was happening with work or Madison. But the feeling in my gut wouldn't go away. It was 3 weeks before the trip when things started getting really weird. It was a Friday night. Olivia and I usually had a tradition: order takeout, open a bottle of wine, and binge whatever show we were into at the time. But when I brought it up that afternoon, she barely looked up from her phone before saying, "Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm going out with Madison tonight." I frowned. "Again?" She sighed, like I was being difficult. "Yes, again. What's the problem?" "There's no problem," I said, forcing a laugh. "I just feel like you two have been hanging out every other night lately." She rolled her eyes. "She's going through stuff, Jake." "What? Am I supposed to just ignore my best friend?" That shut me up. What was I supposed to say? "No, don't help your friend?" I felt like an ass even questioning it. So I backed off. I told her to have fun, gave her a kiss on the cheek, and pretended like it didn't bother me. But something still wasn't sitting right. It wasn't just that she was going out a lot. It was the way she was acting before she left. She was standing in front of the mirror, fixing her makeup. A full face, more than she usually wore. She'd changed outfits twice, settling on a short, low-cut dress I hadn't seen in a while. She looked gorgeous. But it wasn't just for a casual night out with a friend. And then, when she thought I wasn't looking, she did something that made my stomach tighten. She picked up her phone, took a picture of herself in the mirror, then typed something before quickly locking the screen. It wasn't a selfie for Instagram. There was no filter, no caption. She was sending it to someone. I don't know why, but in that moment, I felt something shift. A slow, gnawing doubt started creeping in. Something cold and ugly that I didn't want to feel. But I still said nothing. I watched her grab her purse, flash me a quick smile and say, "Don't wait up." Then she walked out the door. And I sat there in silence, staring at the empty space she left behind. For the first time since we'd started dating, I didn't know where she really was. I tried to ignore it. I really did. I sat on the couch, turned on the TV, even poured myself a glass of whiskey to drown out the nagging feeling clawing at the back of my skull. But it wouldn't go away. She had looked too perfect. Her makeup, her dress, the way she had checked her reflection one last time before leaving. I had seen Olivia go out plenty of times. But tonight it wasn't for Madison. I knew that. I knew it in my gut. I picked up my phone, staring at our last text conversation. Nothing weird. Just a quick have fun from me and a thanks, babe, from her. But that didn't mean anything. I opened Instagram. Olivia was always quick to post when she was out with friends. Stories, boomerangs, aesthetic shots of cocktails. She liked to document everything. But when I checked, nothing. No posts. No tags. No location check-ins. I swallowed hard. My fingers hovered over Madison's profile, but I hesitated. If I checked her stories and she saw that I had, would that make me look crazy? I shook my head. Screw it. I tapped on Madison's profile. She had posted 3 stories that night. The first was a blurry photo of some candles at a restaurant, captioned, "Much needed girls' night." The second was a close-up of her margarita. But the third one, that was the one that made my pulse slam against my ribs. It was a mirror selfie. Madison, alone, standing in the bathroom of what looked like a bar. But Olivia wasn't in it. I sat up straighter, my grip tightening around my phone. If they were out together, why wasn't Olivia in the picture? Madison wasn't the type to skip a group selfie. She was the type to make the bartender take 10 different angles of her and Olivia holding up their drinks. I checked the timestamp, posted an hour ago, which meant Olivia had been gone for over 2 hours. But there was no proof she was actually with Madison at all. My heart started pounding. I opened my texts and hovered over Olivia's name. My thumb twitched. Should I ask where she was? Should I call? No. I needed to be smart about this. If she was lying to me, if she was actually with someone else, I needed more than just a gut feeling. I needed proof. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and for the first time in our entire relationship, I made the decision to follow her. I called Madison. She picked up on the second ring, her voice casual. "Hey Jake, what's up?" I didn't waste time. "Where's Olivia?" A pause. What? Olivia, I repeated, gripping the wheel. She told me she was with you tonight. Where is she? Another pause. Shorter this time. She just left. I knew she was lying. Where? I pressed. She hesitated. We were at, the Blue Orchid, a bar on the other side of town. I put the car in drive. And she just left? Yeah, like 5 minutes ago. Alone. A longer pause. Jake. I hung up before she could say anything else. I sped toward the Blue Orchid, weaving between cars, my grip so tight on the wheel my fingers ached. The closer I got, the more the numbers on that call log burned in my head. I had dialed that number, and a man had answered. A man who thought I was Olivia. She wasn't with Madison. She hadn't been with Madison for a long time. 15 minutes later, I pulled up outside the bar. I scanned the parking lot. Her car wasn't there. I cursed under my breath and got out. The bouncer barely glanced at me as I stepped inside. The place was crowded, dimly lit, music pulsing low. I pushed through groups of people, eyes scanning the booths, the bar, the tables. She wasn't here. I turned toward the bartender, flashing a 20 before he could even ask what I wanted. You see a woman in here earlier? Dark hair, red dress, with a friend. He pocketed the bill. A lot of people come through. I pulled out another 20. She was with someone else? He glanced down at the money, then back up at me. His face didn't change, but I saw the flicker of recognition. Yeah, he said finally. She left about an hour ago. Not with a friend. My pulse pounded in my ears. Who was she with? He shrugged. Some guy. Tall, blonde, button-down shirt. Never seen him before. I grabbed my phone, opened the call log, and stared at that unknown number. I looked back at the bartender. Did they say where they were going? He shook his head. No, but they were all over each other. Didn't look like they were calling it a night just yet. My stomach twisted. I walked out of the bar and got back in my car, gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles cracked. I needed to find her. I dialed her number. It rang, and rang. Then, voicemail. I clenched my teeth and called again. Same thing. I knew what she was doing. I just didn't know where. Then I remembered something. Months ago, Olivia had told me about a boutique hotel downtown that she loved. She had shown me pictures of the rooftop bar, saying we should go sometime. She had never brought it up again after that. But I had the name. I pulled up the GPS, typed in the Hanover Hotel, and hit start. 15 minutes later, I was there. I parked across the street, my heartbeat hammering against my ribs. The entrance was sleek, glass doors sliding open as guests walked in and out. I spotted the valet, a young guy standing near the curb. I got out of the car and walked up to him. I pulled another 20 from my wallet. You see a dark-haired woman in a red dress come through here? He barely hesitated. Yeah, about half an hour ago. My jaw locked. Was she alone? He shook his head. No, she was with some guy. I forced myself to stay calm. What room? The kid swallowed. I can't. I pulled out 100. His eyes flickered. He took the bill and slipped it into his pocket. Top floor. Room 1007. I turned and walked inside. Straight to the elevators. Straight to her. I stepped into the elevator and hit the button for the top floor. The doors slid shut. The hum of the elevator filled the silence. I could feel the blood pounding in my ears. I checked my phone. Still no response from Olivia. She wasn't ignoring me. She was too busy. The number from earlier burned in my recent calls. I pulled it up again. Dialed. 1 ring. 2. Then click. No words this time. Just breathing. Someone was on the other end, waiting. I didn't speak. Neither did he. I hung up. The doors slid open. I stepped into the dimly lit hallway, my shoes hitting the plush carpet. Each step measured, controlled. The numbers on the doors blurred as I walked past them. 1003. 1005. 1007. I stopped. I stared at the door. Her door. I flexed my fingers, rolled my shoulders. My body was tense, coiled so tight I could barely breathe. This was it. I raised my fist and knocked. No answer. I knocked again. Harder. Still nothing. I exhaled slowly, forcing myself to stay calm. Then I reached for the handle. Turned. Unlocked. I pushed the door open and stepped inside. Dim lights. The scent of perfume, her perfume. A bottle of champagne on the nightstand, 2 glasses beside it. And on the bed, Olivia. Her back was against the headboard, the sheets pulled up to cover her. Her dark hair was messy, her eyes wide. She wasn't alone. The guy was sitting beside her. Shirtless. Blonde. The same bastard the bartender had described. He froze when he saw me, his hand still gripping a champagne glass, halfway to his mouth. Olivia gasped. "Jake!" I didn't hear the rest. I moved. I crossed the room in 2 strides and grabbed the bastard by the collar, yanking him off the bed. The glass shattered as it hit the floor. His back slammed into the wall, a framed picture knocking loose behind him. "Who the hell are you?" I snarled. His hands went up. "Dude, I didn't know she." I shoved him harder. The lamp on the nightstand wobbled, almost tipping over. My fist clenched, itching to swing. "Jake, stop!" Olivia's voice cut through the haze. I turned my head, and there she was, half wrapped in the sheets, hair wild, eyes desperate. "You're gonna wake up the whole damn hotel," she hissed, her voice low. That made me laugh. Laugh. A sharp, humorless sound. "That's what you're worried about?" My voice came out cold, unfamiliar. I released my grip on the guy's shirt, shoving him back toward the bed. He stumbled, coughing. I turned to Olivia. "How long?" My voice was steady, controlled. She pulled the sheets tighter around herself. "Jake, please." "How long?" She swallowed, looked down. "Couple months." The words hit like a fist to the ribs. I nodded, jaw locked so tight I thought my teeth would crack. "And Madison? She covering for you this whole time?" She flinched. "Yeah," I said, shaking my head. "Figures." The guy, Liam or Ryan or whatever the hell his name was, was standing now, hands raised like he was trying to defuse a bomb. "Look, man," he started. I shot him a look that made him shut the hell up. I turned back to Olivia. "You done then?" Her eyebrows pinched together. "What? You and me?" My voice came out flat. "This is it, right? Or do you have more lies lined up?" She opened her mouth, closed it, looked away. That was my answer. I exhaled through my nose. "All right." I turned, walked toward the door, grabbed the handle. "You're just gonna leave?" Olivia's voice wavered behind me. I didn't turn around, didn't look at her. "You made your choice," I said. "Now live with it." I walked out, slamming the door behind me. I walked straight to the elevator, my pulse still hammering in my ears. I kept my steps even, steady. No looking back. No second-guessing. The doors slid open, and I stepped inside, hitting the lobby button without hesitation. My phone buzzed. "Olivia." I let it ring, then again, and again. By the time I reached the lobby, I had 5 missed calls. I ignored them all. I stepped outside, pulling my keys from my pocket as I headed toward my car. The cold night air cut through my shirt, but I barely felt it. I reached the driver's side door and yanked it open. "Jake, wait." Her voice. I didn't turn around. I didn't want to see her. I got in the car and slammed the door shut. A hand slapped against the window. Olivia. Her hair was a mess, her dress slipping off one shoulder, her bare feet against the pavement. She must have run out of the hotel like that. I rolled the window down just enough to hear her. "Jake, please," she panted. "Just talk to me." I looked at her, finally. She looked pathetic. Not the confident, effortless Olivia I had spent 5 years with. Just a wreck in the aftermath of her own mistakes. I exhaled sharply. "Talk? About what?" She swallowed, her throat working. I don't know. I didn't want you to leave like that." I let out a hollow laugh. "Like what? Like a guy who just found out his girlfriend's been screwing some random asshole in a hotel room?" She flinched. I put both hands on the wheel, gripping it tight. I spent a year planning that trip for us. You remember that? Or was I just some idiot handing you money while you ran around behind my back? Tears welled in her eyes. It wasn't like that. I scoffed. Really? Tell me, Olivia, how was it? She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I shook my head. You don't even have an excuse, do you? She sniffed, wiping at her face. I screwed up. Okay? Jake, I still love you. I stared at her. Then I laughed. A real sharp, bitter laugh. She blinked. Why are you laughing? I rolled the window down a little more, leaned out slightly. You don't love me, Olivia. You love security. You love knowing I was always going to be there, that I'd always be the safe choice. I nodded toward the hotel. And when that wasn't enough for you, you went looking for something else. She pressed her lips together, looking away. Yeah, I muttered. That's what I thought. I rolled the window back up and put the car in drive. Her hands smacked the glass. Jake, please just wait. I pulled out of the parking lot, her figure shrinking in the rearview mirror. I didn't wait. I didn't look back. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I felt free. The next morning, I woke up to 16 missed calls. 12 from Olivia. 4 from Madison. I didn't answer any of them. I got out of bed, stretched, rolled my shoulders, and felt lighter than I had in years. No pit in my stomach. No gnawing anxiety about where Olivia was or who she was with. Just silence. Peace. I made coffee, checked my emails, and started making a list of everything I needed to do. First, I called the travel agency. Hi, I need to cancel a trip. The woman on the other end gave me the standard speech about cancellation fees, but I didn't care. I cut her off. Cancel it. I don't need a refund. I had already lost enough time and money on Olivia. I wasn't about to waste more energy trying to get a couple of $1,000s back. Next, I logged into the airline's website and canceled her return flight. She could figure her own way home. By the time I was finishing my second cup of coffee, my phone buzzed again. Another call from Olivia. This time I answered. I put the phone to my ear but didn't say a word. Jake. Her voice was small, shaky. I didn't respond. She sniffed. Are you really not going to talk to me? Nothing. Another sniff. A shaky breath. Jake, please. I don't know how to fix this. I finally spoke. You don't. Silence. You made your choice, I said, voice flat. Now live with it. She let out a small sob. Jake, don't do this. I don't have anywhere to go. I need you. I almost laughed. She needed me? I leaned back in my chair, completely calm. You should have thought about that before you screwed another guy in a hotel room. She gasped like the words had physically hit her. But I wasn't done. You know what's funny, Olivia? I continued, swirling my coffee in the mug. I didn't even catch you by accident. I wasn't just suspicious. I figured it out because you were so damn careless. You left a trail of lies so obvious that I had to find the truth. Her breathing was ragged now. Jake, please. No. I cut her off. We're done. For real this time. Silence. Just the sound of her quiet, broken breathing. Then she tried one last time. I love you. I smiled to myself. Cold. Detached. Done. No, Olivia, I said, voice steady. You love what I did for you. And now that it's gone, you're just realizing how much you needed it. She sobbed. I hung up, blocked her number. Then, I opened my texts and sent one last message. Madison, we both know you lied for her. Don't ever contact me again. Blocked her too. And just like that, Olivia's entire world collapsed in a single morning. Her free ride? Gone. Her security? Gone. Her backup plan? Gone. She was alone now. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like I could finally move forward. I didn't hear from Olivia again after that. Not directly, anyway. But people talked. Word got around. A week after I cut her off completely, I got a text from a mutual friend. Emma. Emma. Dude, Olivia's a mess. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the best of me. Me, not my problem. Emma. She got kicked out of her apartment. Landlord changed the locks. Apparently, she missed rent last month. Guess she was expecting you to cover it? I smirked. That explained the desperate phone calls. Me. Sounds like she should have picked a richer guy to cheat with. Emma, savage. But honestly, she's crashing on Madison's couch now. And guess what? They had a huge falling out. Me, not surprised. Emma. Madison finally admitted she never liked the guy Olivia cheated with. She only covered for her because Olivia guilt-tripped her into it. Now that you cut them both off, they're turning on each other. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling slowly. It was exactly what I had expected. Olivia thought she could have everything. My love, my money, my stability, while still chasing cheap thrills on the side. Now she had nothing. She was sleeping on a couch, broke, jobless, and stuck with a best friend, who was just as tired of her lies as I was. Perfect. I didn't reply to Emma after that. Olivia's life wasn't my concern anymore. I had better things to focus on. I spent the next few weeks rebuilding. I went back to the gym, focused on work, booked a solo trip, to the exact same villa in Malibu that I had originally planned for our anniversary. But this time, I was going alone. The moment I stepped into that oceanfront suite, I felt free. I swam in the infinity pool, drank whiskey on the balcony, and watched the sun set without a single ounce of regret. Olivia had tried to break me, but in the end, she only set me free.